On April 1, 1976, in a surprise move, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto appointed Zia-ul-Haq as Chief of Army Staff, superseding 5 senior generals. Bhutto probably wanted somebody as the head of the armed forces who would not prove to be a threat for him. And the best available option was a simple general who was apparently interested only in offering prayers and playing golf. However, General Zia-ul-Haq proved to be much smarter than what Bhutto had thought. When political tension reached its climax due to the deadlock between Bhutto and the leadership of Pakistan National Alliance on the issue of general elections, Zia-ul-Haq took advantage of the situation. On July 5, 1977, he carried out a bloodless coup, overthrowing Bhutto's government and enforced martial law in the country. After assuming power as Chief Martial Law Administrator, Zia-ul-Haq promised to hold national and provincial assembly elections within 90 days and to hand over power to the representatives of the nation. However, in October 1977, he announced the postponement of the electoral plan and decided to start an accountability process of the politicians. In a statement, he said that he changed his decision due to the strong public demand for the scrutiny of political leaders who had indulged in malpractice in the past. A white paper was also issued which criticized the activities of PPP government under Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. With the retirement of Chaudhry Fazl Elahi, Zia-ul-Haq also assumed the office of President of Pakistan on September 16, 1978. On 4th of April 1979, the former Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was hanged after the Supreme Court upheld the death sentence as passed by the Lahore High Court. The High Court had given him death sentence on charges of the murder of the father of Ahmad Raza Kusuri, a dissident PPP politician. Despite many clumsy appeals from the foreign leaders requesting Zia to commute Bhutto's death sentence, Zia dismissed the appeals as trade union activity and upheld the death sentence. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was buried in his ancestral village at Garhi Khudabakhsh next to his father's grave. In the mid-80s, Zia-ul-Haq decided to fulfill his promise of holding elections in the country. But before handing over the power to the public representatives, he decided to secure his position. A referendum was held in the country in December 1984, and the masses were given the option to elect or reject the general as the future president of Pakistan. The question asked in the referendum was phrased in a way that Zia-ul-Haq's victory was related to the process of Islamization in the country. According to the official result, more than 95% of the votes were cast in favor of Zia-ul-Haq. Thus, he was elected as president for the next 5 years. After being elected president, Zia-ul-Haq decided to hold elections in the country in February 1985 on a non-party basis. Most of the political parties decided to boycott the election, but election results showed that many victors belonged to one party or the other. To make things easier for himself, the general nominated the Prime Minister from amongst the members of the Assembly. To many, his nomination of Muhammad Khan Jonejo as the Prime Minister was because he wanted a simple person at the post who would act as a puppet in his hands. Before handing over the power to the new government, he made certain amendments in the Constitution and got them endorsed from the Parliament before lifting the state of emergency in the country. Due to this 8th Amendment in the Constitution, the powers of the President were increased to an absolute level on the plea of safeguarding national integrity. By the beginning of 1988, rumors about the differences between the Prime Minister and Ziaul-Haq were rife. The general feeling was that the president, who had enjoyed absolute power for 8 years, was not ready to share it with anybody else. On May 29, 1988, Ziaul-Haq finally dissolved the National Assembly and removed the Prime Minister under Article 58(2)(b) of the amended Constitution. After 11 years, Ziaul-Haq once again made the same promise to the nation to hold fresh elections within next 90 days. With Benazir Bhutto back in the country and the Muslim League leadership annoyed with the president over the decision of May 29, Ziaul-Haq was trapped in the most difficult situation of his political life. The only option left for him was to repeat history and to postpone elections once again. However, before taking any decision, Ziaul-Haq died in an air crash near Baharpur on August 17, 1988. The accident proved to be very costly for the country, as almost the entire military elite of Pakistan was on board. Though US Ambassador to Pakistan was also killed in the misfortune, yet many do not rule out the US involvement in the sabotage. His death brought a large number of mourners to attend his funeral, including a large number of Afghanis, who proved to be one of the biggest in the history of the country. During his rule, Ziaul-Haq tried his utmost to maintain close ties with the Muslim world. He made vigorous efforts, along with other Muslim states, to bring an end to the war between Iran and Iraq. Pakistan joined the non-aligned movement in 1979 during Ziaul-Haq's term. He also fought a war by proxy in Afghanistan and saved Pakistan from a direct war with Soviet Union.